my cue. Welcome everybody to the regular session of the Yuma County Board of Supervisors. Also sitting as all special taxing districts starting at 9 a.m. this morning. Board members, we just lost a board member that was calling in by telephone, in person or remotely via electronic conferencing. And we had Supervisor Simmons on the phone. We'll try to get him back. We'll call this meeting to order. And Chairman or Supervisor Pankrazin, would you lead us in the pledge?
Would you all please join me in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we have a special treat this morning. We have a swearing-in ceremony, and we have the Honorable Judge Mark Reeves to swear in the new Yuma County Recorder, Mr. Richard Caldwell. If you want to come to the front.
Good morning.
Good morning.
To be here. Richard, I'm going to turn this way so everybody can see you, and raise your right hand. Please repeat after me. I, Richard Caldwell,
I, Richard Caldwell,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and the laws of the state of Arizona,
and the Constitution and the laws of the state of Arizona,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and defend them against all enemies,
and defend them against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge
the duties of the office of Yuma County Recorder
the duties of the office of Yuma County Recorder
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Ms. Caldwell, give you a second to say anything you'd like to say.
I just want to thank the Board of Supervisors for your unanimous vote to put me in here, and I assure you I will run this office professionally with the highest integrity, and I will do my honest best. Thank you to the county staff. I have to say, for the government, they moved pretty quick on this one. I mean, I applied Tuesday, and by Friday I was in. I've never seen anything like that.
Yuma County. We're
Hopefully our meeting will be like that today.
But thank you very much, and thank you to my friends and family who are here.
How exciting.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We will, and if you're here for that, you're welcome to leave if you want. You don't have to sit through the rest of non-government meetings. We will continue with our regular session, and we will have the call to the public. Call to the public is held for the public benefit to allow individuals to address issues within the board's jurisdiction. Board members may not discuss items that are not specifically identified on the agenda. Therefore, pursuant to Arizona Revised Statutes, action taken as a result of public comment will be limited to directing staff to study the matter, responding to criticism, or scheduling the matter for further discussion and decision at a future date. Public comments may be made in person or submitted by email. The email forms of public comment will be accepted until 8 a.m. the morning of the meeting. All public comments will be read aloud during the Yuma County Board of Supervisors meeting that starts at 9 a.m. Desiree, do we have any emails? Okay, thank you. I have one call to public request from Gail Castriconi. We'll turn some time over to her.
You sent away all my audience.
I'm sorry. Come back.
Good morning. I'm Gail Castricone. I reside at 3788 West 18th Place. I am here as an advocate for the Avenue B and C Colonia. The Butterfly Project is an outreach to our community to give hope to the residents by ensuring that their families will be able to live.
Can I stop you there for a
Yes.
second? I apologize.
That's all right.
We're going to wait till the doors close.
Yeah.
If they keep pushing them, they'll.
Somebody keeps pushing the exit. Lots of enthusiasm.
We had to make them handicap accessible, and they're old, so they're really slow.
All right, Gail, go ahead.
Okay, so you're giving me 2 extra minutes.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'll start. The Butterfly Project is an outreach to our community to give hope to the residents by ensuring that their families will be able to live in a clean and safe environment. All of us have daunting tasks ahead of us to restore the BNC Colonia, but with hard work and dedication, we can continue to see progress. The steering committee has set up a tentative agenda for the next 4 months. At our monthly community meetings in August, we will discuss dates and times for the upcoming events. We will talk about what each event entails, such as county staff, volunteers, flyers, etc. For September, we are looking, and I'll talk with Supervisor Pancrazzi about doing our first cleanup on Fifth Street. And so we'll do that way towards the end, so you'll,
We'll talk about that. Josh, we'll talk about that.
okay, Josh. Okay,
Thank you.
and then for October, we're going to do fire safety and prevention. Pat Headington and I, a couple years ago, started to do this outreach because it's going to be, all the kids getting together, fire trucks, and the city, helps us, and rural metro and everything. But COVID came, and so that was put off. So we're going to address that again. It's a fun time for kids and family. And then in November, we'll be giving out Thanksgiving gift bag distribution. And in December, Christmas gift bag distribution. And I wanted to explain a little bit of what that is. I've been doing it for several years, but now that I have a committee, some sweet souls have said that they'll help pass those out. And what it is I just pray, and we go to the hardest part of our community where there is a lot of poverty, a lot of distress, and we give out gift bags, and they contain all kinds of goodies. And in that, we get a one-on-one feeling about what they're going through and how we can aid in theirs. And sometimes we'll hear something about somebody who has a dire need, and we see if we can find ways to address that. So it's an awesome thing. I go away just blessed to think that maybe we could have put a smile on somebody's face, because especially in these hard times where people are doing without so much, it'll be an awesome time to gift them. So we encourage everyone to be kind to their neighbor and lend a helping hand. Martin Luther King Jr.'s quote is, "Love is the only force capable of transforming an enemy into a friend." Have a great day. God bless you, and God bless America.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Gail, we appreciate you taking the lead on that. And as I've commented to you before, I was a resident of Van Mobile Park for about 10 years. So I've been down there to see what it looks like and know what it can be, and just appreciate your dedication to that area of our community.
Mm-hmm.
We will now look at presentations, proclamations, and appointments, and I will call the public open. During this segment of the agenda, board members may discuss the presentations and proclamations and may announce appointment to the Yuma County Planning and Zoning Commission and the Yuma County Board of Adjustment, and no legal actions will be taken. Are there any appointments? No. Darren, do we have you back on the line?
Yeah, I'm back.
All right,
All
thank you
right.
very much. All right, we have one presentation, and we'll turn it over to Supervisor Pancrazzi to read that proclamation.
Proclaiming the week of July 17th through the 23rd, 2022 as pre-trial, probation, parole supervision week in Yuma County. Whereas community corrections is an essential part of the justice system, and whereas community corrections professionals uphold the law with dignity while recognizing the right to be safeguarded from criminal activity, and whereas community corrections professionals are responsible for supervising adult and juvenile offenders in the community, and whereas community correction professionals provide services, support, and protection for victims and advocate community and restorative justice, and whereas community correction professionals are restoring trust and creating hope in their communities. Now, therefore, I, Marco A. Tony Reyes, Chairman of the Yuma County Board of Supervisors, hereby proclaim the week of July 17th to the 23rd, 2022, to be pre-trial probation parole supervision week in Yuma County.
Thank you, Supervisor
Yes.
Pancrazzi. Edward Gilligan and Mike Bird, do you guys want to say anything
Yeah.
before we take a picture?
Yeah.
Just, it's an absolute honor to be part of this county team. Probation and parole, supervision, pretrial. Certainly, we wouldn't have the effectiveness we have without the support of every county department and the Board of Supervisors. So we're very, very appreciative of your ongoing support of all of our operations.
Chairman Lyons, members of the board, thank you guys so much. It means so much to our department to have the support that we continually have from this board and this county. I couldn't think of a better county to work for, and I've done it for 21 years, and I look forward to many, many more. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I really appreciate all your employees and what they do
Absolutely.
for this community.
Well,
No, the probation, the people who will serve.
okay. Wasn't quite sure what you're getting at, right?
Oh, no. The people who are probation officers and employees of the juvenile and ICOG, I'm sorry. And as long as we're not wearing masks and somebody doesn't tell me I can't,
We'll hear from Diana shortly.
Thank you, guys.
yeah, no, she'll tell me no.
All right. Now we'll go to the consent calendar. Following items listed under the consent agenda will be considered. Yes.
We have the county line
Oh,
presentation.
that's right. I apologize. See, I'm turning the page and moving.
The Board of Supervisors appoints a new recorder. We'll introduce you. Do you intend on voting early? We'll show you how to correctly fill out your early ballot. And school is around the corner. Are your children's immunizations up to date? These stories and more. This is your County Line. As the county recorder steps down, the Board of Supervisors appoints the role to a resident who has dedicated his career to service. After nearly 14 years as the Yuma County Recorder, Robin Stallworth-Poquette decided to pursue a new opportunity within the Yuma County organization, leaving her position vacant. 5 exceptional candidates applied for the position, but only one could be selected. On Friday, July 8th, the board unanimously appointed Richard A. Colwell to fill out the remainder of Robin's term as recorder in Yuma County.
It was a unanimous vote by the Board of Supervisors, and it's going to start relatively quickly, but I'm actually looking forward to the challenge. And thankfully, the outgoing recorder is nearby, so if there are any issues, I can consult her whenever need be.
Colwell has worked as a lieutenant for the Yuma Police Department and as the chief deputy for the clerk of the Superior Court. Colwell was also the Law Enforcement Training Academy's Academy Director at Arizona Western College. During his years of service, Richard has gained a strong understanding of statutes, budget, and personnel matters, which will make his transition much easier. Early voting for the August 2nd primary election has begun. If you're a registered voter expecting an early ballot, we have some tips to help you fill out your ballot correctly. If you signed up for an early ballot, there's a good chance it's already been delivered to your mailbox. Be on the lookout for the blue envelope. Read the instructions, cast your votes, place your ballot in the affidavit envelope, sign the back, and return your ballot as soon as possible. You could drop it in the mail or drop it off at any of the 6 secure ballot drop locations in Yuma County. Early ballots must be returned to the county recorder by 7 p.m. on Election Day. The drop box locations and hours of availability can be found at yumacountyaz.gov/voter and election services under the Voting Locations button. Summer is in full swing in Yuma County, and the last thing on most kids' minds is returning to school. But for parents, now is the time to begin preparing your children for the upcoming school year. It's a good time to review your school-aged children's shot records if you haven't updated them recently.
Right now, since we've gone through this pandemic, people have not come in as regularly to get their kids caught up on their shots. So we really want to encourage people to come in, get their kids caught up on their vaccines before they start school.
Your Yuma County Public Health District recently announced their back-to-school immunization clinic schedule. Beginning July 18th, the clinics will be offered from 8:30 a.m. through 4 p.m., Monday through Friday. Residents can visit the health district to ensure your child's immunizations records are up to date. For more information about what you'll need to bring with you to your appointment, please visit the Health District's Immunization Program page at yumacountyaz.gov under the Health tab, or you can call 928-317-4550.
I'm Elia Juarez, and this is your library update. The Yuma County Library District has just launched 2 awesome new digital resources that you can access from the comfort of your own home or here at the library. We now offer something called Transparent Language. Transparent Language is an amazing new language learning resource that you can access through our website that gives you access to dozens of languages in different levels of learning. It's not just spoken language, it also teaches you the grammar and the writing of these languages. The second one of our resources that we're featuring right now is called The Shelf. The Shelf is a brand new streaming option for our Spanish-speaking patrons or our English-speaking patrons who just like to watch some novelas or listen to music in Spanish or access movies from Spanish language countries all around the world. And it's absolutely free for everyone who has a library card with us. You can access these new resources as well as all of your old favorites by going to our website at yumalibrary.org.
Before we go, a reminder about traveling in the future and an extended deadline. Every Arizonan needs to know that beginning May 3rd, 2023, driver's licenses and ID cards without a gold star in the upper right corner will no longer be used as identification at airports. If you don't have the card by then, you will only be able to use a federal ID or passport to fly. Make a plan now to get the new travel ID and beat the rush. It's simple. Just navigate to aztravelid.com. When you're there, just follow the instructions. Thank you for joining us for this County Line. We'd like to know of any story ideas you may have, so let us know. And if you're looking for stories we've covered in the past, log on to our website at yumacountyaz.gov/VOD. We'll see you on the next County Line.
We'll now look at the consent calendar. The following items listed on the consent agenda will be considered as a group and acted upon by one motion with no separate discussion unless a board member so requests. In that event, the item will be removed from the consent calendar for separate discussion and action. Would anybody like to pull any of the items for separate consideration?
I just want number 4.
Okay. Martine, anything? No? Okay. I would entertain a motion.
I move that we pass the consent calendar except for number 4.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Lynn, item number 4.
Okay, well, the Quechan tribe from Fort Yuma, we have agreed to, there's not someone here, but I would like to personally thank them very much for their contribution of $9,237.02 that will be going to the Yuma Community Food Bank. Our Yuma Community Food Bank during the summertime is not only short on volunteers, but it's short on foodstuffs as well. So with this contribution of over $9,000, it will really positively impact the well-being of those who have to utilize or do utilize the Yuma Community Food Bank. And With that, I'd like to thank the Quishon and move that we accept number 4 of the consent calendar.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All right. Sounds
Thank
good.
you all that gamble out there at Quishon.
Thank you to the Quishons, and appreciate the work that the Yuma Community Food Bank does here in the community.
Yeah, it does.
We will now go to the discussion action items. The board will open each of the following items separately for discussion and action as appropriate. First one, County Administration, Public Health Services, Emergency Management, Diana.
Good morning, Chairman Lyons, members of the board. Diana Gomez, Director of Public Health. A quick update. As you have probably seen the news, you could see that our positivity rate has been going up. We've seen an increase in cases. If you look at the CDC dashboard, we were at low before as level of transmission was concerned. Now we're at high. And that's consistent with what we're seeing both with our wastewater surveillance and our positivity tests from all our PCR tests. Again, those are lab-reported tests, not the take-home tests. So when you look at all the lab-reported tests that have been processed and reported to the state lab, 41% of those are coming back as positives. So we're seeing a big increase. And again, that is due to the subvariant BA.5, which again is a subvariant of the Omicron, highly transmissible. And we've seen the cases steadily increase. So in April, our monthly total was 125. In May, it was 247. In June, it went up to like 932. In July, it's the 18th, and we're at 1,086 cases. So again, travel, the high transmissibility of this variant, it's just much more effective at evading immunity. It's just the level of mutations it has. So just a reminder that this particular variant doesn't care if you've already had it. It's just highly susceptible. It makes you susceptible again, even if you've had it as recently as 6 weeks, 8 weeks ago. So again, it's the level of transmission. We've seen a little rise in people requiring treatment and hospitalizations, but again, we're holding steady, which is the good news. Our concern is always not to overwhelm the healthcare system. So just a reminder for people, again, we're all getting ready to go back to school, we're traveling, just go ahead and do whatever activity you need to do, but be mindful of the increase. So if you need to take those precautions, particularly in crowded settings, or if you need a booster, particularly if you have somebody who's immunocompromised, it's just important to have that information, have that level of awareness so you can make the best decisions for you and your family. And so again, we have, as you saw on the update, we have our back to school vaccinations. So again, those are required school vaccinations. They're in an auditorium last till 4 o'clock for the next 2 weeks, excluding the weekend. So again, an opportunity to parents to just stop by and get their kids caught up. So unless there's any questions.
Diana,
Yes,
she mentioned the fact that we were slow to vaccinate during the kind of the COVID shutdown. What do you think that rate is percentage-wise, that we were not vaccinating steadily?
So I think a lot of people forwent going out because of the, I don't feel comfortable giving you an actual percentage.
Okay, all right.
Just because I don't know off the top of my head. But what happened, what we saw was there was a lot of homeschooling and people weren't going out as much. So there was routine vaccination that are required for a certain age group or recommended for a certain age group. And because there was a lot of home-based learning, Zoom type learning, those were, people just didn't go out and get those. But for example, college students are required to get like a meningitis vaccine against meningitis. That's something that's, important because the immunity wears off at that level. You need that booster. So things like that were things that were, just not.
Can you repeat those hours again for vaccination?
So again, we started this morning. We're there from 8:30 to 4.
Okay.
So just make sure that Monday through Friday, nothing on the weekend.
All right.
But if you have any questions, feel free to call the number, and it's also on our website.
Thank you very much,
Mhm.
Diana.
Thank you.
Any questions or comments?
Oh, no.
All right.
Thank you.
Emergency management. Filling in today.
Oh, yeah.
Morning, Vice Chairman Lyons, Board of Supervisors, Russ Hartley, Office of Emergency Management. I'm here for Director Badia. He's off on PTO. The update right now for the migrant issue that we're dealing with, the numbers haven't slowed down. They're still at the same they've been at the averages. To date, the governor's office with AZDEMA, along with the Regional Center for Border Health, has sent 28 buses with almost 1,100 asylum seekers to the DC area. They're still sending them out when they get here and going on that.
And that's strictly voluntary.
Yes, that's a total voluntary issue, and a lot of those times those are the asylum seekers that don't have funds to move on with their trip. One of the concerns we do have, everybody should have, is with the heat and as hot as it is out there, and a lot of these migrants are crossing in the desert. We're averaging 3 to 5 deceased migrants a week in Yuma County, which is obviously a concern and an issue.
Do you know our tally so far, the total?
I do not have the total, sir. I know that's the average that I was given. It was 3 to 5 a week. And I know as it gets hotter, that's still a concern. It's hot now. Other than that, we're still, Office of Emergency Management is supplying restrooms along the border for the sanitary issues, as far as the health concerns we have when the migrants do cross, and they're waiting to be picked up by Border Patrol.
I received a couple of different phone calls yesterday and the day before. One was from Amanda. She was concerned because there is a group that's down there handing out shave kits, and they end up having to throw those away prior to being transported. So if we could find out who's doing that, because basically they have to take that whole kit and throw it away. But somebody's down on the border passing those out, and because they have razors in there, they can't be
Understandable. If if we can get down there and look and identify them, we'll speak with them.
and just ask them to refrain from doing that. And then just, I don't know if you guys are aware of it, but Governor's office is here meeting with the sheriff today and others to go and do an update on the situation as well. So you might want to check in with Leon to see if there's anything else that he might have for you guys today, as they are here to do another pass through and look at and see firsthand what's happening on the border.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I'll reach out.
Anything else, Russell?
No, sir.
Appreciate you guys being there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Russell.
And engineering and flood control. And the item up for discussion is resolution number 2022-20, amending the floodplain regulations.
Vice Chairman Lyons, members of the board, Frank Sanchez, County Engineer. And since this is a flood control item, if I may, I'd like to bring up two individuals, interns that we've hired for the summer, and introduce them. Tiana and Leopoldo, do you guys want to come up?
Tiana.
Tiana Deloney is a student at Northern Arizona University studying environmental engineering. She graduated from Cibola High School. Leopoldo Lopez is currently attending AWC, and he graduated from San Luis High School, also studying engineering. Thank you for your support in allowing us to hire them this summer. We have them for a couple more weeks before they go back to their fall sessions, but it's a pleasure. I'm hoping that they do gain a lot from their experience here, and so we wanted to bring them to the Board of Supervisors just to see this aspect of the job. And
what have you guys learned? How are your bosses?
They're really
good. Anything you guys like to say about your experience?
Tiana, go ahead, say something.
We don't want to put you on the spot.
It's been good so far. Just seeing the different aspects of code to, I don't know, just how it all comes together. And it's been interesting.
The practical application. Have you seen any of the projects or been on site?
Yeah.
Different from books or?
No, I feel like my books have come pretty well. So.
Very well, nice.
And
I mean, considering it's my first year of college in engineering, I'd say I really like the exposure to a civil engineer. I really like engineering now.
Would you step up to the podium just so we could hear you? Thank you.
Oh, okay.
now
We got our sound guy in the back, our tech guy going, hey, wait a second, nobody can hear. Anyway.
Okay. Oh, well, considering it's my first year of engineering, I really like the exposure I gained working with civil engineer department. And it's really made me decide I like civil a lot.
Very cool. we are
Alright.
grateful that you had that experience, especially growing our own, right?
Yes, that's it.
Absolutely.
Growing
Like we
our
like to
own.
do. Well, thank you for
Thank
identifying
you.
them. So how did you apply, or how did you find out about it? And if somebody else is interested, what would you recommend?
Well, personally, I was in Upward Bound in AWC, and I was recommended to Fred, and that's how I got into this internship.
Very nice.
And
Tiana?
Tiana?
I actually spoke to Fred about it, but recommending it in the future, I'd probably just maybe go out and speak to AWC students, maybe, or even ASU, NAU students as well, because I know a lot of my peers were looking for internships and just didn't know where to start.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you for doing that.
Are you a
Appreciate
junior or a senior?
I'll be a junior.
that. Excellent. Well, thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you both.
We kind of put them on the spot. They didn't know that they were coming down here.
Okay.
You guys did great. You guys did
You
great.
guys did very
For being put on
good.
the spot.
Yes.
And talking about locally homegrown talent, I'd also like to introduce our senior civil engineer in the flood control division, Fred Stevens, who's going to present
Come
this
on,
item.
Fred.
But Fred Stevens is a graduate from Yuma High.
Go Yuma.
Also graduated from Northern Arizona University, my alma mater, and it's been great. This is Fred's second stint with the Yuma County. If Chairman Reyes was here, he'd probably recognize Fred from 2001. So we're glad to have Fred back in our office.
Welcome back, Fred.
Oh, I'm glad
What
you're
year did you
back in
graduate
Yuma.
from Yuma?
91.
91. I was 88.
88.
A long time ago, right?
That's it. That's it. That's it.
Did
Go
you have,
Crims.
So you.
did you have Mr. Pancrathy, either one of you?
I did.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to treat this as a call to the public item. and
Okay.
therefore You'll be limited to your restrictions related to call to the public.
Thank
I
you.
apologize.
Go ahead. Sorry, Fred, we're not allowed to.
Right. So, Vice Chairman Lyons, fellow supervisors, we're here to present what you have before you there, the red lines or the update to the 2012 floodplain regulations. March 2021, we had a community assistant visit from the Department of Water Resources as participants of the National Flood Insurance Program. Those happen approximately every 5 years. Somehow we managed to not have one for 10. So with the update, one of the main recommendations were to update the floodplain regulations to the current Colorado River Ravine System guide. And so those recommendations at the end of the visit came across in the report. And so what you have before you is the prepared update at the end of a long public process. Our Flood Control Advisory Board got the opportunity to review. The development community reviewed as well. So we had our staff, our attorney staff review. And again, the primary updates are format, nomenclature, updated to the state standard. And so that's what you have. And that's what we're asking for approval of today and satisfying the community assistant visit in 2021.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, just a reminder, you need to open this up for a public hearing, and then we'll close it and act on it after that.
And we will now open this up for public hearing. Do we have any comments from any member of this body? Going once, going twice, going 3 times. We will close this public hearing and entertain a motion.
I move okay, hold on. I move that we approve resolution number 2022-20, amending the floodplain regulations
And authorize the chairman to sign the resolution.
and authorize the chairman to sign the resolution.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Motion carries. Thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
When you call the vote, because we have to know how everybody voted, if you call the nay as well, and we'll
Okay.
recognize no nays are present.
Okay. We will recognize no nays. Do you want to do a roll call?
Just for the future
Just
items.
for the future.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I
Like
don't want
I
to
said,
slow this meeting down.
This is my first meeting. We're on a roll. Lots of learning. Okay, financial services to adopt resolution number 2022-21, approving the form and authorizing execution and delivery of purchase agreement, the necessary agreements, instruments, and documents, etc. Gil, turn the time over to you.
Mr. Vice Chairman and members of the board, Gil Villegas, Chief Financial Officer. This is our final step in the process that we have to go through if we want to get the funding for the needed infrastructure that Yuma County has. We have a quick presentation for all of you. So it's just pretty much summarizing what we have done throughout the process.
Can I turn off some lights a little bit?
Sure. So you should have the presentation in your books, in your package as well. And once again, with me is Mr. Mark Reeder. He's the Vice President Stifel, and he has been our financial advisor through all this process. So this is what we're trying to do with our rating. We actually did a rating presentation to two of the rating agencies, Fitch and Standard & Poor's. We're looking around $54 million. That number is going to variance a little bit from the total $60 million that I have in the resolution. That's because of the premium that we're receiving from investors. Next page, please. You can just scroll down, please. Thank you. So once again, these are the 5 projects that
Gil,
we're
let me stop you
looking.
there.
Yes,
Are
sir.
we able to enlarge that just for the presentation portion
Can you enlarge it, guys?
to make it full page? Maybe it's a formatting issue. I think Ian was already on that.
Oh, much better.
There we
Thank
go.
you.
The zoom out.
Hmm.
Supervisor Lyons, this is the 5 projects that we have, and the total amount that we're going after right now is $60 million. Once again, the main project that we have going is $36.9 million. That's the new administration building across the street. We also have modification and expansion to the health districts, around $17 million. And of course, a new multi-departmental building, $11 million. U of A offices, around $2 million, and the new emergency management offices, $1.3 million. Again, I want to reiterate that these are the numbers that were presented to the board back in February 23, 2022. As everybody knows, during our budget process, we set aside some funds, additional funds for this project if needed. So, because we all know how construction prices are going right now, so we have done our best estimate to see how much money we need to borrow. I've been in constant communication with the construction manager here in Yuma County, so we can have an estimate how prices are ranging and what we need to borrow. Next page, please. These are the estimated numbers received by the financial advisor so far. Like I said, the par amount, the money that we're going to be owing, $53.955 million. We're going to receive some premium for our total sources, $16,447,000. Additional sources that we're going to get is a commitment from the health district contribution, $2 million. General fund reserves, 6.2, even though we have appropriated more than that. And this is how we're going to use that money. The construction of the buildings and all the cost of issuance that we're going to have for the issuance. If you scroll down to the next page, please. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Reeder on this one. It's more of the technical financial stuff. This is what we have been proposing. Again, this is just an estimate. We would know until we go out and actually procure for the funds. Mark, you want to give us a little presentation?
Yes, good morning, Mr. Chairman, Vice Chairman, members of the board. Mark Reeder with Stiefel. It's good to be back. This is our third and final meeting. So after this, you probably won't see me for a while. But it's been nice communicating with you on this very important financing the county's moving forward with. Gil had asked me to kind of give you a market update. As you all know, interest rates.
Okay, go ahead. He'll be back on.
Interest rates have gravitated on us up a tad the last 6 months, as you all know. I don't think it's not the end of the world for us. You're a AA rated county that we've talked about before. Your bonds will be well received by investors. Investors are looking for, in light of the current volatility, they call it, in the marketplace, they're looking for very sound, safe, and secure municipal bond investments, and certainly your county fits right in that sweet spot, we think. So we're going to walk you through a calendar here in a moment, but just to give you an idea, I apologize for all the numbers, but if you go to the fifth column over where it says yield, we're probably looking at the moment, we're going to start off somewhere in the middle 1% range. As you all know, bonds are no different than CDs or other investments. The longer you invest, the little higher rates you get to compensate investors for inflation and perceived risk. So we got 150, as you can see, 175, and then out on the long end, we're going to do a 20-year amortization, if you recall, because we're designing this to fit within your budget that's very much affordable for the county out to the 367 range. So we're going to get our credit ratings back today, and Mr. Villegas will report certainly back to the board with regard to that, what we believe is really good news. So I just want to give you an idea there. Can I answer any questions really generally on the market or any questions on your borrowing costs?
What do you anticipate the long-term average to be percentage-wise?
Well, we got the 150 to 367, as you all know, and we got to include some costs in there. We're sure hoping to get you in that high 3% range. Okay. Maybe 375, certainly under 4% range would be my guess at the moment.
Gil, a year ago, we were looking at like 2%. How has that changed over the past year?
Mr. Chairman and members of the board, when we were going through the budget process, we were estimating around 3.5, 3.75. So we're very close to what we had done in the budget. And once again, May to now, a lot of things have changed.
Sure. Thank you.
Gil, would you like to go over the next page? Or would you like
will
me
you please turn the next page?
I have one more question.
Yeah.
We can pay this off at any time, right?
No, generally speaking, I'll take that just real quick. In order to keep that rate down, investors in the municipal bond world, they like that call protection. They don't really want their bonds called for a period of time. So 10 is pretty common, and I'm going to work really close with Gil and Ian and the team, maybe to shorten that, maybe to a 9. And if there's no penalty going 9, then we'll probably throttle back at the 9. So that's the way we'll probably set it up. Did you want anything?
So after 9 years, we could pay it off, right?
Gil, is that what you would recommend?
Yes, reverse lines, yes. Usually when we work this bond deals, I always like to have that early call clause included. We know that from time to time we come up with plus money, good funds, our conservative nature, we don't spend a lot of money, so I like to use that to support an early call.
Mm-hmm.
Just like we did on the past bonds.
Yes, the ones we paid off, yeah.
So this is a summary of the 2 outstanding debt that we're going to have if we continue with this infrastructure. The current outstanding debt that you see on the third column, it's our pension bonds. Those are required payments that we have for the year. And Mark, the financial advisor, they like to do this little presentation so we have an idea what's the aggregate total debt service so we can look forward in the future. Just for your reference, the PSPRS debt bond that we did has an early call of 7 years. So in 7 years, we can look at the numbers again. Next one, please. So this is our financial schedule. This is what, like I said, this process started back in May. This is what we have left to do today, July 18. We're in front of the board asking to adopt the resolution that we put in front of you. We're going to put the whole package, the offering package together and distribute hopefully around August the 8th. And the week of August 15th, we'll go out to the races, like Mark used to say, and we're going to be out there trying to get the best deal for Yuma County. The expected date to close this will be around towards the end of August or early September. And with that, I will be happy to entertain any other questions.
Is this going to impact the interest rates, do you think? Do you think they're going to go up before we can get this out there?
All the interest rate that we have provided right now, they're all estimates. We are subject to the market. We wouldn't know until we actually go out, do the offering statement, and we start getting those requests from the investors.
And if I could just add real quick, Mr. Chair and Supervisor Pancrazi, that's why we're looking to do that emergency clause, which will allow Gil and myself to move as quickly as possible to secure the best interest rate.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why we have that emergency clause within the resolution, so we can expeditiously get this funds completed and done.
Thank you very much, Gil. Martine, do you have any questions? No? Do we have Supervisor Simmons back on the line? We could try to get him back, that'd be great.
Mr. Chairman, this is where we require 4 ayes to get that declaration in place. We could always,
I can come back later.
we could table the item till the end of the meeting or a later time today, and move on to another item. We just don't want to close it out and
One of the requirements for the emergency clause, I have to have a supermajority, which is 4 votes.
Supervisor Simmons? Thought I heard him back.
I did too. I thought I heard a ding, but nope.
Mr. Chairman, they are efforting to get Mr. Simmons online. They're calling him back, but it's going straight to voicemail. So he's traveling, but they are working hard to restore
Ian,
that
do you
connection.
think that we might be able to call Chairman Reyes?
Yes.
Gil, do you want to go on?
Actually, this is all what we have, the presentation. All we need is just the resolution and the fourth vote. So we're just going to wait patiently for that.
And they are trying to reach Chairman Reyes at this time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gil. And thank you for maintaining that AA rating.
It's been difficult the last 2 years, but we do an effort. I have a great staff, and they always help me with all the financial needs. So we're current with our disclosure, so that has a significant impact.
We want to commend you guys on sound fiscal management.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
options. We can wait until you get another supervisor on the line.
2 seconds. Both going to voicemail? We will table this item. And we'll continue it.
Yeah, we'll let the public know this item will come up later towards the end at this meeting. We'll just
I'm going
move
to
to
check
items,
them and see if I can get a hold of them.
continue business.
All right, county administration. Item number 4.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you know, back in February of 2019, the board entered into an IGA with the Yuma County Recorder to combine the offices of Recorder and Election Services to better integrate the 2 offices and their functions. And since that date, all election-related services fall under the direct supervision of the County Recorder. The IGA also created an election advisory committee comprised of the County Recorder, County Administrator, County Attorney, and 2 members of the Board of Supervisors, both from different parties. This committee serves as a subject matter resource to the County Recorder in areas of statutory compliance, operational efficiency, and public policy, and shall provide input on elections, operations, and initiatives. It is also responsible for overseeing the recruitment, evaluation, and interviewing of the elections director. This item is placed for review, discussion, and possible action. The IGA can be canceled or amended immediately by joint agreement or by either party with 60 days written notice. The IGA is scheduled to automatically extend for another term from December 16, 2022 to December 15, 2024. Now, in discussions with our new recorder and our past recorder, and I don't want to speak for you, sir, if you wanted to add anything, but staff's recommendation at this time is to potentially table this item until it can be evaluated further with the new county recorder.
Richard Caldwell, Yuma County Recorder. I've asked if we could postpone the decision on this. It's not that I can't give you an answer. It's just that I would like to find out the pros and cons of it. Right now, I'm not suggesting in any way we change it because the personnel are in place, the elections are ongoing. I just don't have a real grasp yet of the understanding of all the players in it. And that's why I asked if we could postpone any action on it. Certainly leave everything in place the way it's going right now.
Chair, Vice Chair, I think that's a great idea, and I mean, I think we've talked about this before, and maybe just wait till you settle in and see how you feel, and in the meantime, I think we have the administrator oversee elections department like normally it used to be, until we decide either in December if it continues or whenever he's ready.
Mr. Chairman, Supervisor Porches, that would require an amending of the current IGA to facilitate that change. If you
overseeing
right now, the elections director reports to the recorder.
That's why
so if we leave it just
Supervisor Porches, just having had the opportunity to visit with our past recorder, she has volunteered to help in the oversight while we're having training so that we don't lose any consistency there. And so I felt confident that we'd be able to continue in that manner.
Just leave it like it is, yeah,
Yeah.
for now.
Okay. We'll table that item. Continue it.
Very good.
What's the correct language you desire?
I think table, since we don't have a date certain at this time.
Okay, we will table that item.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
we do have Tony on the phone.
Okay, Chairman Reyes? Okay,
Okay.
so.
Richard, I apologize.
Do we need a
That's okay.
vote for this?
Well, we're gonna table it and we'll revisit it in the next couple of months as you have
After
settled
the
in
election.
and had the opportunity to visit.
Let's get through this, yeah.
Thank you, Board.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys. Mhm.
Gil, you're back up at bat. Welcome back.
Thank you.
It's been a while.
Just want to say, Supervisor, thank you for the effort to have this fourth vote coming in. It's very important for us so we can move quickly.
Get this moved, yeah.
Tony,
Hi,
are you
Tony.
with us?
Hi, everybody.
Hi,
Thank you, Tony. All right.
Yeah, well, I was watching you guys live on Facebook, and somehow I got a call and I couldn't handle both. It's old age. But anyway, I'm here.
Okay, thank you very much, Chairman Reyes.
Okay, are you ready? You need a motion,
We
right?
need a motion.
You got to raise your voices, guys. We can barely hear you. I can barely hear you.
Okay. I move that we adopt resolution 2022-21 approving the form and authorizing the execution and delivery of a purchase agreement and other necessary agreement instruments and documents. Is that what I need? The whole
John,
thing?
I would just do the whole thing, because we got your
Okay,
fourth.
approving the sale and execution and delivery of pledged revenues, obligations in one or more series in the amount not to exceed 60 million aggregate principal amount to finance the acquisition and or construction of new county buildings and perform modifications to existing county buildings as needed, as approved during the FY 2023 budget process, delegating authority to the county administrator and or the chief financial officer to determine certain matters with respect to the foregoing, and declaring an emergency.
And this requires, because of that amount, a supermajority, and we will do a, oh, I'm sorry. We need a second.
We need a second.
Need a second. Okay, and requires 4 ayes. Desiree, would you like to call the roll?
Supervisor Pancrase.
Aye.
Supervisor Porches.
Aye.
Vice Chair Lyons.
Aye.
Chairman Reyes.
Aye.
All right.
Thank you very much. Motion passes with 1 in absentia and no nays. How's that? Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairman Reyes.
All right.
Tony.
All right, guys.
Drive
I'm
safely.
on the road. I don't know when it will cut off. I'll keep watching you on Facebook Live.
Okay.
Very
good.
entertaining.
Thank you. Very entertaining.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Appreciate that. Okay.
Mhm.
Election services. We tabled that.
We did.
So
planning
we
and
will,
zoning.
sorry,
We're on planning and zoning.
planning and zoning, full legal description. Let's see, we'll turn it over to planning and zoning. Who's here to do the,
Maggie somewhere.
Maggie, I saw there, there's Matt, okay. Who's gonna do it?
Everybody's here.
Mr. Chairman, hi, Juan Leal Rubio, Senior Panel Planning and Zoning Division. This is an expedited agenda.
Okay.
Do you wish for me to do a full presentation?
No, do you want to just explain it? Just briefly? Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'll present it.
Okay.
This is a request by Micah Johnson to rezone a parcel 8 acres, gross acres in size, from R8 10 rural area 10 acre minimum to suburban ranch 2 acre minimum. Assessor's parcel number 754370012, located at 17201 South Avenue B. The applicant is okay with all the listed conditions. The commission recommended approval. There is no opposition on this case.
Thank you very much, Juan. Do we have any, I'll open up the public hearing. Do we have any members of the audience that would like to speak? Or against? Okay, I'd entertain a motion. I'll close the public hearing. Entertain a motion.
I moved to, okay, you go. Good.
I move to approve the public hearing rezoning case 22-04. Senate.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in
Thank you.
favor?
Aye.
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 All right.
Any opposed? I'm sorry.
Any opposed? I was gonna get there.
Okay.
But Tony hung up.
In case
Unless
he
we have
was
Darren back on the line. Okay, now we got a full presentation calendar. Staff will make a full presentation on each of the following items, followed up by separate discussion, public hearing, or action by the Board of Supervisors. And we have one item, 22-02.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Javier Barraza, Senior Planner, presenting special use permit case number 22-02. This is a request for a special use permit per section 602.03E of the Yuma County zoning ordinance to allow an accessory dwelling unit on a parcel 2.5 gross acres in size, zone suburban ranch 2 acre minimum, located in a foothills planning area at 10375 South Gold Bar Drive, Yuma, Arizona. And the intent is to build a side-built home as an accessory dwelling unit for family members. This is the vicinity and zoning map showing parcel 73, highlighted in crosshatch at the center. The property is flat. Access is from Avenue 14.5E on the west, following that blue line. Parcel 72, 71, 66 to the north and west are zone SR-2, improved with a mixture of manufactured homes and side builds. Parcel 74 to the south is vacant in mountain terrain. Parcel number 1 on the east is zone rural area 10 acre minimum in mountain terrain. This is an aerial view showing the subject parcel. The red outline shows the limit of the property. The existing site build is located on the northeast corner of the parcel. This is an oblique view showing the topography of the area. This is the site plan that was first submitted by the applicant showing the footprint. That square shows the footprint where that new proposed ADU could be built. And then they provided a more specific site plan showing there were some questions about it by the commission, and then the applicant submitted a more defined site plan. So outlined in red is the existing dwelling, and highlighted in red also is the proposed accessory dwelling unit. Will share the common drive, utilities, and it will have separate septic systems. This is a view looking east along 27th Street. Now looking north along Gold Bar Avenue. Is a view looking northeast at the subject parcel from the southwest corner. A closer look. The existing house is raised about 10 feet and probably will be just in front of it to the west. Closer look. Received no comments from within the zoning area. However, we received one comment in opposition from the public at the time of the commission meeting. Planning Commission recommends approval of special use permit case 22-02, subject to the following performance condition. Within 60 days of approval by the board, the owner or agent shall provide an ARS 12-1134 waiver and record an infrastructure disclosure statement. Also, the following operational conditions. The approval of the special use permit based on the site plan submitted by the applicant. Any change from this site plan requires prior approval by the planning director, and the principal dwelling and accessory dwelling unit shall not be rented out separately. Mr. Chairman, this concludes staff's presentation.
Thank you very much. We'll open up public hearing. Do we have any public comments? Any public comments? Going once, going twice, going 3 times? We'll close the public hearing. Supervisor Porter, Supervisor Pancrazzi, any comments?
I don't see any opposition from MCAS.
That is correct, Mr. Chairman. There is no opposition from them. This is not within any zone, noise zone, or close to any military facilities. Just under restricted airspace, probably.
Okay. I would entertain a motion.
I'll
Do you have any
move
questions?
to approve staff report as presented.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, motion carries. And now we will go to legislative issues. Alejandro.
Mr. Vice Chairman, members of the board, Alejandro Figueroa, Director of Economic Development and Intergovernmental Affairs. I'll be presenting to you the legislative update for today. So a very brief recap on the last legislative session. July 7 was the last day for the Governor Ducey to sign or veto bills prior to them automatically going into law. The legislature passed 398 bills, while the governor signed 388 of them and vetoed 4 bills. The clicker. So the Secretary of State also is working on to make sure that the following items do have the 237,645 ballot signatures needed to make it to the ballot this coming November. The I-04 2022 Voters' Right to Know Act requires anyone spending over $50,000 on statewide or $25,000 on other campaigns to disclose that the original source of contributions over $5,000. I-05 2022 Predatory Debt Collection Protection Act caps interest rate on medical debt, adjusts exemptions for inflation, and allows the court to reduce the amount of disposable earnings subject to garnishment due to economic hardship. And finally, I-16 2022 Arizonans for Free and Fair Elections. It restores the permanent early voting list and reduces reasons for cancellations. So a determination of the validity of the signatures must be made prior to October 12th. That's when the general election ballots will begin to be mailed out.
Do they have the signatures then?
They did get the signatures, Supervisor Pancrazzi. They're just looking and making sure they're valid.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
On the international front, during a meeting at the White House with President Joe Biden last week, Mexico's President López Obrador announced that his administration is committed to investing $1.5 billion towards border infrastructure on the Mexican side over the next 2 years. The funds will be used to modernize some of Mexico's busiest ports of entries.
Does that include Yuma?
That would include that one in San Luis Rio Colorado. Yes, ma'am. So that's my update for the first item on the agenda. Mr. Chairman, if you'd like me to move on to the next one.
Yes, sir.
So staff is considering 2 policy proposals to submit to the CSA this upcoming August 15 for their consideration and support. The first one is the waste tire management issue we have here in the county. Mr. Josh Scott, Yuma County's Public Works Director, and I believe Yuma County, and very possibly at least 7 to 8 other counties, are not receiving equitable share of waste tire revenues from the state, as we have been operating in the red in recent years. Counties, as you know, are obligated to collect and dispose of waste tires, and the state funds waste tire programs by imposing a fee on new tire sales of 2% or $2, whichever is least, and has been in place since the 1990s. The funds collected are distributed pro rata to counties based on the number of motor vehicles registered in each county. Now, it is important to note that Yuma County has a winter visitor population of more than 70,000 persons per year, and none of those vehicles are registered in Yuma County, even though we're likely collecting fees for tires being replaced. Yuma County has a high number of federal vehicles from agencies such as Border Patrol and BLM, VOR, and waste tires for these agencies show up at our facility, but Yuma County does not receive credit or revenue from them because the vehicles aren't registered in Yuma County either. Finally, ADOT and state vehicles are registered in Maricopa County, since that is the purchase origin for those vehicles. Josh and I are working with the CSA staff to determine the best approach to getting Yuma County the appropriate level of funding for a waste tire management program. We hope to learn what the exact distribution formula is and help develop a more equitable distribution formula that somehow accounts for the factors mentioned before. As an additional note to that, residents in Yuma County can drop up to 5 tires a year at our facility. And also, as a side note, Arizona already is among the states with the largest fee on new tires.
What is the average fee nationwide?
It ranges from $150 to $5, depending on the size and the weight of the tire.
Do we have any local recyclers, or are those taken elsewhere?
There's one vendor that comes and picks up the tires to make them into crumble and then process them into roads at the state level. We have to pay them to do that. Now, it's mostly every other county deals with the same vendor, so it's not the price. It's not exactly a vendor issue, at least as far as we know right now. There might be different prices to different counties depending on how much they produce.
Okay. Josh, do you want to say anything on that?
Yeah, I'm just going to add that we contract those services out to a company called CRM, and like Alejandro said, every other county in the state uses them. They're not the only game in town, and they haul them back to a facility in Phoenix, chip them up, and use them in playground matting.
Okay.
And it's not cost effective for us to do our own.
There's just too many tires. I mean, 174,000 tires last year.
Wow.
That's too much for our own purposes.
Wow. Okay.
So at this point, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, we're still looking into the issue. I'll keep you updated, and we're hoping to bring the final version of the proposal by the next board meeting for your review and support.
Okay.
And the second item we're also looking into is, as Supervisor Pancrazzi and Supervisor Simmons mentioned during the last meeting, it's a human waste issue from California into Yuma County. So Mr. Greg Sellerson and Mr. George Amaya, Director and Deputy Director, respectively, of Yuma County's Development Services Department, and I are working with CSA staff to research this issue further and identify statutes and/or rules that we could possibly change or alter by strengthening regulations over these types of operations within our county to disincentivize expansion of the ongoing operations, as well as to disincentivize other companies from bringing additional human waste to our region. Some of the rules we're currently considering proposing to be included or changed as part of this policy proposal to the CSA are require all human waste to be tilled or disked within a shorter time span, regardless of distance from commercial or housing development. Require all human waste to be tilled or disked 5 to 10 deep feet. There is no requirement on the depth right now that they need to be tilled underground. Require human waste management companies to constantly monitor nearby wells. And the other thing we're considering is requiring ADQ to open a public comment period and not just a public notice, so that counties, cities, towns, and the public in general may manifest their opinion when it comes to human waste management operations within our region. Furthermore, we're considering looking into different funding options for further research on this issue, as the research done by the U of A few years ago was inconclusive, and therefore, even when it may seem obvious to most of us that human waste in our county may be producing flies, we don't have any current and conclusive data to support this claim. Our goal is to claim this issue, bring this claim before the CSA or the legislature as an environmental nuisance and as a hindering of our residents' quality of life as the main reasons for this proposal to them. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them, and Mr. Craig Sellers is here as well to respond.
I was recently put into contact with the director of ADQ by the past director because of the complaints I had received regarding the flies, and they provided some additional, their own additional data, which I forwarded to Susan, and then I believe it was distributed to all of the board. Ian, if we could get that data and compare it to what we're being presented, just to make sure that ADEQ and U of A is on the same page, compare those two studies, and then we can determine a path forward. They were certainly open to revisiting the issue from their perspective as far as the monitoring, and made overtures that they would consider any additional requests made by the county on behalf of the residents.
The other thing is requiring them to go deeper into the ground with the disking that they have to do would help greatly, because if you go out there, you can see that they're not getting it deep enough to make sure that the flies can't reach it. I mean, their discs are maybe this big, you know, and they're disking it. All they're doing is leaving it on the surface and disking it in with the sand. So it needs to be disked under a great deal more.
Okay, thank you, Supervisor. Martin?
You know, I brought up this issue when I was a mayor back 8 years ago, and so it's this is not the first time, you know, we've seen this. I mean, but it's a combination of many things. You know, the landfill, the sewage, and the agriculture, the agriculture.
Lettuce plants.
Leaves or the waste that they dump close to the landfill from all the salad plants. And then also then in the summer, all the cantaloupe fields that are being disked. So it's a combination of many things that flies are going to continue to be part of this area, or no matter what we do. I mean,
well,
it's if we really want to eliminate them, it's going to cost a lot, and who's going to pay for it?
Mr. Chair and Martina, it's like this: taking care of our own waste, taking care of our own produce waste, is our responsibility. But taking care of somebody else's shouldn't be our responsibility, as far as I'm concerned. So the state of California should be taking care of their own. State of Arizona will take care of their own. So if we eliminate this, the waste from California, and we still have flies, we know it's our problem, and that we need to do a better job of regulating within our own state. But having other states contribute to that, to me, is excessive.
Right, and Mr. Chairman, Supervisor Pancrase, it seems that counties in California do cap the amount of human waste they can process internally, and that's why they start looking for other locations.
Well, they can look for other locations in their own state.
Thank you very much, Alejandro.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Appreciate that. I'm going to reopen call to the public, as we now have Shara Merton here from the Human Community Food Bank. And we didn't have a tribal representative today, but give her the opportunity to address and to say anything she'd like to say in regarding to the donation.
Thank you. That is huge. It was a very nice gesture with the Board of Supervisors. This time, we're really struggling with a lot of our homeless. And some of the resources that we typically allocate to hunger are also now going to be tapping into finding resources to help manage some of those local homeless people that are on our doorstep. So the donation will come in very handy, and we appreciate that.
Thank you very much, Shara.
Thank you.
Supervisor Fortress or Pancrase, anything? No.
Thank you for what you're doing.
It's a team effort, so thank you.
Thank you for being here, Sharon.
You're welcome.
Okay. Current events. We're gonna go backwards. We're gonna start with Porches.
All right, Porches.
Boy, not much to, you know, I was out here, I was out the last special meeting we had, so I was on the phone. I was out of town, but I'm back, so.
Welcome back. Supervisor Pancrazzi.
I went to the special session for the Board of Supervisors. I went to a meeting I'm looking at it, for WACOG, and I went to Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of last week. I was with the water conference from the U of A, Tuesday in person, and Wednesday and Thursday were virtual. And then I attended the the heavy freight alignment meeting out at Public Works, and I met with Alejandro and Craig and several others concerning the waste issue and what we can do as far as legislation is concerned. So.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I had the opportunity to visit with several constituents, specifically regarding water. Received 2 additional phone calls regarding the flies, and spoke with governor's staff in regards to those things that were happening here up on our border and some of the additional assistance that we might need through AZ-DEMA or any of the other agencies. Spoke with Sheriff Merton specifically regarding cooling centers or the lack thereof, and opening up some of the assets there to take care of those who are struggling during this this heat wave. And that would conclude most of what I've done. The water continues to be an ongoing discussion and challenge, and will be for the foreseeable future. Ian.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Participated in 2 credit rating review meetings with Standard & Poor and Fitch, along with CFO Gil Villegas and Mark Reeder. So as he mentioned, we should have those credit ratings tomorrow, and I'll be sure to let the board know as soon as we get them. Met with Acting City Administrator Jay Simonton and his deputy to discuss a number of suspicious fires in Yuma County over the past year. We discussed creating joint messaging between the city and the county to raise awareness, and I wanted to thank the Sheriff's Office for their willingness to participate in that and to get that messaging out there last week. Participated in a meeting of the Phase 2 group of the county's Organizational Culture Initiative. I joined Supervisor Pancrazzi and county staff in a meeting with ALLO representatives to discuss the project and a kickoff ceremony that'll be coming up in the next few weeks. And once we get something buttoned up on that, we'll certainly let you know. Had a good meeting with Major Bradshaw at the Sheriff's Office with other staff. We discussed recent AC issues and how we can improve communication with facilities management to better serve their needs, the Sheriff's Office needs. Participated in 2 meetings related to the new county administration building project. Participated in a follow-up meeting regarding a review of the county's cell phone and other wireless accounts to eliminate any waste. Had a good monthly meeting with Supervisor Porches. I'll be attending the Arizona City County Management Association meeting later this week, along with management analyst Martin Garcia. And I hope it goes well because I'm the planning co-chair for this conference. And lastly, just once again want to repeat the happy news that the county received the maximum award of $10 million in the Arizona Broadband Development Grant Program. So absolutely critical funding to allow the county to extend that broadband middle mile project. That's it.
I got 9,000 for San Luis.
Correct. Yeah.
9,000 for San Luis.
Yeah. 9.75 million. That's
Yeah, 9
correct.
million.
That's
Sorry,
correct.
I got my zeros. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Well, with all of that being done and said, we will adjourn this meeting.